camera is rolling.
The camera is rolling. I feel serious. I feel like this is a serious thing that I should be talking about, and I guess it kind of is serious, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit serious. It's been a few years since I've done a very large charity-focused fundraising project, and this one, to be honest, has been on the cards for about 5 years. I have not done this particular challenge that I'm going to tell you about any sooner because of basically my own health, physical and mental, and trying to make sure I'm kind of in the best place possible. You know, I've had a few years of injuries, operations, struggling a bit myself and just not being where I would like to be. And it kind of ended up being that towards the end of last year that I was at a point where I was kind of debating whether I should continue doing this anymore. And I gave myself the opportunity to do Gran Guanche, a mountain bike race, and that was the event which I was deciding whether I was going to keep riding my bike and keep documenting it or not. And if that was classed as a success, to me, that was going to be the decision maker. And thankfully, I guess for people watching this, it was kind of classed as a success. I didn't have any injury problems. I got through it and finished that event. So it meant I've carried on and have pushed forward with this idea. Now, that sounds like a weird intro to say, but the reason why I'm saying it is because it kind of gives a bit of context to why I'm doing this challenge. So my plan, starting on the 11th of July, is to bike pack around the perimeter of Britain, starting in London at Movember's office and going anti-clockwise around the perimeter of Britain, finishing back in London roughly a month later. I've given myself a window of about 30 days. I'd like to finish it in under 30 days, and I will be carrying all of my stuff on me while I ride around the perimeter of Britain. This has been something that I've been wanting to do for, as I said, probably about 5 or so years, and the routes have been continually tweaked and changed and updated and made to basically allow me to kind of make this happen, I guess. And then I saw that my mate Molly is actually, right now while we're recording this, is about 80% of her way around the perimeter of Britain, as she is going to, fingers crossed, by the time this goes live, have broken the record for the fastest circumnavigation of Britain. And when Molly announced it, it was kind of like a bit of a moment where I went, okay, that's frustrating because it was something I wanted to do. But in hindsight, actually, it gave me the kick to make me want to do it this year as well. I had to give Molly the utmost respect and kudos for doing what she's doing. It's incredible. So she's going for the supported record outright for circumnavigating the perimeter of Britain, and she has to do it in, I think, under 22 days, which is absolutely just ridiculous. So hopefully when this has gone live, we'll be able to sort of celebrate the fact that Molly has broken that record. Fingers crossed. I'm pretty sure she will. So what I'm doing is somewhat different to what she's doing. I'm bike packing it. I'm carrying everything myself. I will be primarily trying to stay in Airbnbs, bed and breakfasts, accommodation most nights, sofas in people's houses, all that kind of thing, to just try and allow myself to get the best sleep and recovery as possible. And I'm looking to sort of be riding sort of 10 to 12 hours every day during this challenge. So there's a really famous phrase that has kind of stuck with me about this idea and this project, which was "no man is an island." And what that effectively means is that you can sort of survive and cope with solitude for a certain amount of time, but actually the support of friends, family, peers, other people really does help keep everyone going. I'm doing this as a fundraiser for Movember. Movember have been a huge support for me personally when I've been going through some pretty shit times. They provided me with counselling and support in terms of how to manage my own mental health, and also at times when I've really, really struggled, they've been the people that have just been there to talk to, quite frankly. I think maybe people don't necessarily know exactly what Movember do, but they're one of the leading men's health awareness charities in the world. And it's supporting things like mental health awareness as well as physical health with testicular cancer and prostate cancer. And that involves providing the resources for people to know how to reach out and have those conversations with friends or strangers, to being able to help provide funding for things like counselling projects or health checks, etc., etc. They really are an incredible charity. So as I said, the plan is to start from Movember's London office and circumnavigate the perimeter of Britain, going anti-clockwise and finishing back in central London. I'm planning to start on the 11th of July and hopefully finishing roughly a month later. There is a tracker. There'll be a link to the tracker in this video, so you can follow where I am, and there'll also be a link to the collection with all the routes, which will allow you, if you want to come and ride bits of it, you can then have the routes as well. And I'm actively asking for people to come out and ride and share the journey and the adventure with me, because I'm a big believer that cycling is such an incredible way to allow you to talk about your feelings and express your emotions and be able to share that in a safe way. The motion of riding next to someone feels so much less confrontational, and I think that actually the motion of riding a bike and the momentum of moving you forward means that the conversation flows really well. So I'm hoping that people will come out and join me at different points and be able to connect, ride and share the journey. This isn't about breaking any records. This isn't about trying to do it absolutely as fast as I possibly can. This is about engaging in conversations that might be tricky for people to have while traveling around the country. I think it's really important to mention some of the statistics to do with mental health awareness and death by suicide. I am the target, I'm the age group of a lot of these statistics, so it hits hard for me personally. There are many men struggling in the UK, and women of course, but suicide is the biggest killer of men globally. 3 out of 4 deaths are suicide of men. 1 in 5 men aged between 16 and 29 have reported to having moderate to severe depressive symptoms in 2021. And yeah, I just want to stress that suicide is the biggest killer of men globally. That's why we're fundraising. That's why we're doing it. Hopefully, see you on the road. In the description of the video, there'll be a link to the tracker where you'll be able to see exactly where I am while I ride around the country. And there'll also be a link to the Komoot page, which will allow you to download the routes if you want to for the certain part of the country where you might live. And if you want to come along ride, that'd be amazing. And lastly, there'll be a link to the donation page for Movember. So if you can donate towards it, that would be incredible and hugely appreciated. Thank you very much. So just to reiterate it again as well, I'm going to be setting off on the 11th of July, which when this video goes live is in a couple of days' time. And I'll be setting off from central London outside Movember's London office, and I'll be riding anti-clockwise around the perimeter of Britain. Hopefully you'll get to see you on some of the road somewhere around the country.